Did you know that history might not be a straight line, but a repeating circle? What if I told you that great empires, from the Romans to the British, didn't just fall by chance, but were part of a predictable cosmic cycle? And what if our own civilization is right on the cusp of the next great reset? Welcome to Bizarre Bureau, where we uncover the hidden patterns of our world. For centuries, we viewed history as a linear progression, a story of humanity constantly moving forward. But some thinkers, from ancient philosophers to modern historians, have proposed a radical alternative, the cyclical theory of history. They argue that civilizations are like living organisms. They are born, they grow, they mature, and eventually, they decline and fall, only to make way for the next. It is a breathtaking idea that changes everything we thought we knew about our past and our future. Let's travel back to ancient Greece. Philosophers like Plato and Aristotle saw history as a series of repeating cycles, or great years. They believed that everything, from the stars in the sky to the political systems on Earth, moved in vast, recurring patterns. The Romans inherited this idea, with figures like Polybius meticulously charting the rise and fall of political constitutions, from monarchy to tyranny, aristocracy to oligarchy, and democracy to chaos. They saw it as an inevitable natural process. Even in ancient India, the concept of yugas described immense cycles of time where humanity's consciousness rises and falls through golden, silver, bronze, and iron ages. It seems our ancestors were obsessed with the idea that time moves in a circle. But this isn't just ancient philosophy. In the 20th century, historians like Oswald Spengler, in his work The Decline of the West, revived this theory. He compared civilizations to seasons, each with a spring of awakening, a summer of high culture, an autumn of decline, and a final bleak winter. He looked at Western civilization and declared it was in its late autumn, heading for winter. Around the same time, Arnold J. Toynbee published his monumental work, A Study of History. He analyzed 26 different civilizations and concluded they all faced a pattern of challenge and response. A civilization grows when it successfully responds to challenges. But when it becomes too rigid, too complacent, and can no longer adapt, its creative minority falters and it begins to crumble from within. So what are the signs? According to these theories, the symptoms of a civilization in decline are eerily familiar. Think about extreme wealth disparity, where a tiny elite holds most of the resources. Think about political polarization that paralyzes society, making cooperation impossible. Add to that a loss of faith in traditional institutions, a decline in shared values and morals, and a culture that seems more focused on entertainment and distraction than on solving real-world problems. Does any of this sound familiar? Let's look at the Roman Empire. In its final centuries, Rome was plagued by political instability, with emperors being assassinated one after another. Its economy was crippled by hyperinflation and excessive taxation. The gap between the super-rich and the desperately poor grew into a chasm. Barbarian tribes, once kept at bay, began to pour across the borders, not just as invaders, but as migrants seeking a better life. The empire had overextended itself, its institutions were corrupt, and its people had lost their civic virtue. Its fall wasn't a single event, but a long, slow decay, a winter that Spengler would have recognized instantly. Now, let's fast forward. The British Empire, on which the sun famously never set, faced its own autumn. After two devastating world wars, the economic and human cost was immense. A wave of decolonization swept the globe as nations demanded independence. At home, the empire struggled with its changing identity and its diminished place in the world. The old certainties that had held the empire together were gone. The cycle was turning once again. This brings us to today. Our interconnected global civilization is facing a perfect storm of challenges. We have climate change threatening our very existence. We have economic systems that create staggering inequality. We see political divisions that feel deeper and more bitter than ever before. New technologies like artificial intelligence are developing at a pace we can barely comprehend, bringing both incredible promise and existential risk. According to the cyclical theory, these aren't separate crises. They are the converging symptoms of a civilization reaching the end of a major cycle. This is what many are now calling the Great Reset. It's not a conspiracy theory about a secret cabal, but a term for the profound fundamental transformation that our world may be undergoing. It's the idea that our old systems, our economic, political, and social structures are no longer fit for purpose. They are cracking under the strain of 21st century challenges. The system needs to be rebooted, reset, or it will collapse. But here's the crucial part. Decline is not necessarily doom. The winter of one civilization can be the spring of another. The fall of Rome wasn't the end of history. It paved the way for the rise of medieval Europe, the Byzantine Empire, and the Islamic Golden Age. The end of an old order creates a vacuum, a space for new ideas, new technologies, and new ways of living to emerge. The chaos of a reset can be a powerfully creative force. So, if we are in the midst of a great reset, what comes next? No one can say for sure. Perhaps we'll see a shift towards more localized, sustainable communities. Maybe new global institutions will rise, better equipped to handle planetary challenges like climate change. Or perhaps technology will enable a new form of digital civilization that we can't even imagine yet. The possibilities are endless, and they depend entirely on the choices we make right now. Unlike the Romans, we have one huge advantage. We have history. We can study the cycles, learn from the mistakes of past civilizations, and see the warning signs. Toynbee believed that the ultimate fate of a civilization rested on its creative response to overwhelming challenges. We are living through that challenge right now. Our response will determine what the next chapter of human history looks like. Will we be the generation that lets our civilization fall into a long winter of chaos and decay? Or will we be the architects of a new spring, a renaissance of human ingenuity and cooperation? The patterns of history suggest the clock is ticking. The Great Reset is not just coming. It's already here. The question is, what will we build in its wake? Thanks for joining us on this journey through the hidden cycles of time here at Bizarre Bureau. If you found this as fascinating as we do, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. What do you think the future holds? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.